Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inna alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashraf al-anbiya wa mursalin wa sahbihi wa man tabawuhum bi ihsanin ila yawm ad-din wa ba'd. Inshallah, beginning this week, we will, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, begin Khatiras on Saturday and Sunday around this time at 3 p.m. Reading from the book Saeed Khatira, rahmatullahi alayh. This is a book that was written about 800 to 900 years ago by a great Hanbali jurist. What it says, Captured Thoughts, a book that contains reflections and musings of his on various topics. Most of them are relatively short, and so we'll read through them and then provide some brief commentary as well to us around many topics, inshallah ta'ala. So this is a book that I've been sharing with others for a while. We're at chapter 22. Ibn al-Jawzi at this point is talking about rectifying the heart requires leaving desires. So what he says first is as follows. He says, I pondered upon the condition of this world and the condition of the hereafter. Know that events of this life and congenital, as opposed to the events of the hereafter, which are faith, certainty, yaqeen. In other words, they're based upon iman and yaqeen, faith and certainty. Therefore, whoever has knowledge and sense of certainty, so whosoever is knowledge and certainty is not profound, in other words, not at a high level, more inclined towards tangible and congenital events, will be more inclined to this worldly life. As the level of effectual events depends on their causes, mixing with people, citing the desired, and the exposure to attractions should strengthen the effect of tangible and congenital events. That's a mouthful, I know. The translator actually put a parenthetical comment here to make it a little more clear. He said, the effectual factors of this world become stronger and hence attract people more to the fact that in our worldly existence, in our day-to-day existence, and our life in this temporal abode that is this world, we are exposed to tangible and congenital things. In other words, things that are in the here and now, things that we can touch, things that we can see, things that we can smell, things that we can interact with, and therefore their power upon us is great. It causes us to incline to hereafter, yani in general. On the other hand, he continues, solitude, uzla, contemplation, fikr, and seeking knowledge, ilm, are means by which the effect of the events of the hereafter becomes stronger and hence more effectual. So he told us that being exposed to these things, as he said, that the depends on their cause. So mixing with people, seeing the things that are desired, and exposure to the attractions, they strengthen the effect of this worldly life. But he said, in order to strengthen the effect of the hereafter, we need to do a few things. The first he recommends is uzla, which is to seclude ourselves, find solitude. The second is fikr, or contemplation, to reflect and to think deeply upon things, not to just take them surface level, but to dig deeper into them, to reflect upon them, and to plumb the depths of knowledge when we're exposed to it, such that, and this is a slight digression on my part, such that although a topic we may be addressing seems basic, we spend great effort and great time plumbing the depths of that information such that we tease out every last possible benefit that we can find. The best example I can think of as I'm saying this is one example I've shared many times with especially some of the students I deal with in the outreach, Al-Fatiha. All of us, inshallah, we know Al-Fatiha. We know it backwards and forwards. We use it continually throughout the day. But how many of us really make tafakkur, reflect and think deeply upon Al-Fatiha? Whether when we're reciting, how many of us have spent any amount of time reflecting upon and plumbing the depths of Al-Fatiha? This is a whole separate topic, and maybe we may do a series just on that. But benefits in Al-Fatiha that if we plumb the depths of Al-Fatiha, we come to many aha moments or revelations of knowledge that we would not find unless we took that time. Keep in mind that it is Quran. Scholars explain that the summarization of all of the meanings and lessons in the Quran, all of the guidance in those 7 ayahs of Al-Fatiha. So this is just one example. Contemplation, fikr, and then also seeking of knowledge. So seeking that knowledge, and obviously here what he's referring to worldly knowledge, although there is benefit to be found in worldly knowledge, but not the benefit that he's referring to here. He's referring to religious knowledge. Knowledge of the religion, and so seeking that knowledge as a means by which to effect becoming stronger and more effectual upon ourselves. He continues experiencing the marketplaces where worldly pleasures and adornments are offered, and then visiting cemeteries to someone 2 obvious different feelings. Litmus test for us. If the way we are places when we are out in social gatherings, how it is affecting us when we go to the cemetery or to attend a janazah, etc. If the difference between those 2 is small or none at all, for us to say that there is something seriously, seriously wrong with our heart. That the hereafter and this life have become equal. And inevitably, it's not because we've raised the hereafter to come to the level of the dunya, but we've completely forgotten about it. We've given no attention, no consideration to the akhirah. We've focused all of our attentions and all of our hopes and our aspirations on the dunya. And this is a mistake. This is a mistake. He continues, the reason for such differences is because in the situation, the kind of exposure to events differs. That being the case, you should seek solitude, observe a constant remembrance, dhikr, knowledge, ilm, for it is the advice I offer to you. So here he's continuing his advice. He makes a slight change. He talks about dhikr. Dhikr can be a form of dhikr. Fikr can be a form of dhikr, if you will. So solitude, the dhikr of Allah, and seeking of knowledge is the advice that he offers. This is because he says solitude, uzla, is a diet. So this is the dietary recommendation of Ibn al-Jawzi, rahimahullah. Solitude, and then contemplation, fikr, and knowledge, ilm, are medicine. Feeding yourself with medicine means you should not mix it with what harms you. In other words, you shouldn't be taking medicine and still doing the things that harm you. So he says, and you know that mixing with people has debased, but not in addition practice uzla, practice solitude, being away from the people, then the medicine that you're taking will be of no benefit because you're not practicing the diet. You're not practicing the diet, and this is a crucial. You will, this diet, this uzla, actually the reason that we're doing things the way we are right now is an example of this. We have been forced into a diet and right mindset. If we seek from it the benefits that could be found there, and that in this solitude, in this being away from people, if we busied ourselves with benefit, if we busied ourselves with reflection and contemplation, even introspection, I'm going beyond what he's saying here now, even with introspection, muhasabah of ourselves in this time. And I've actually heard some people recently make comments of that effect, that a lot of time to reflect, do some personal reflection of our characters. But if we didn't use that time in those ways, then that forced solitude, that uzla that was imposed upon us because of circumstances as they are, has been of no benefit. Has been of no benefit whatsoever. You have to combine the two. However, he finishes off by saying, however, if you insist on mixing with people and exposing yourself to desires while wishing to rectify your hearts, then you have indeed sought the impossible. So in other words, you can't, as we say, have your cake and eat it too. If you want to rectify your heart, you need to separate yourself from the people. There has to be some physical separation. Importantly, there has to be a mental and a spiritual separation from the people, such that they too large in your estimation of things as to their importance or the balances that you need to strike. And Allah Ta'ala knows best. Inshallah, we'll continue doing this Saturdays and Sundays around 3 p.m. Inshallah Ta'ala. Please let us know whether or not you find these beneficial, and if you have any recommendations or any additional points that you would like to share with us in the comments, we would greatly appreciate it. Wa jazakum Allahu khair. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.